and welcome to Making Mindfulness Fun. In this video, I'm covering what it means to have a moon in Scorpio, everything you need to know about being a moon in Scorpio, and what your biggest struggle is going to be as a Scorpio moon, or as I like to call them, the intense intuitive. Hello and welcome to Making Mindfulness Fun. I'm Isabel, the co-founder, and I'm the personality expert here at Making Mindfulness Fun. I help you understand who you are using personality typing systems, including the Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, and astrology. In this video, I'm talking today about what it means to have a moon in Scorpio, or as I like to call them, the intense intuitive. But before we dive into specifically having a moon in Scorpio, what even is a moon sign? So, chances are, if you're new to astrology, you already know your sun sign. That's where you say, if someone asks you, like, do you know your astrology or your birth chart, or do you know your sign? You usually say this one. Oh, I'm a Virgo. I'm a Cancer. I don't know what that really means. That's based off of where the sun was at your moment of birth. Now, the moon sign is where the moon was at your point of birth. And this one you likely won't know until you have pulled your birth chart. So, if you've never pulled a birth chart and you don't know what your moon sign is, highly recommend doing that. But chances are you're watching this video on a moon in Scorpio because you just pulled your birth chart and you want to know what it means to have a moon in Scorpio. So, with a moon in Scorpio, these people are going to be extremely intense. Scorpio, the archetype of Scorpio, is a very intense person. They have a lot of power, they have a lot of intuition, and they can struggle a little bit with trust. These people want to be, they seek dependency through other people. As it's opposing the opposite of Taurus. Taurus is all about self-sustainability, about doing things on your own, being strong and independent, where Scorpio finds power through other people. And so they do this by being attractive to other people to some extent. These people can seem to have very a magnetic energy that people are drawn to, or they do it by becoming quote-unquote codependent. That is the shadow side of Scorpio, is that they become codependent with people and sharing resources and identifying themselves as their partner. And this Scorpio energy can play out in our chart wherever we have Scorpio energy. So if you have a Mars in Scorpio, this will show up more for you through the lens of your actions. But with a moon in Scorpio, these people have this intense desire and energy and a slight desire for codependency in their emotional realm. So the sun sign is all about your ego self. As human beings with a conscious mind, we have to have an ability to perceive the self. And so that's what our sun sign is. It's the version of us that we perceive. And so it's the part of us that people will generally describe us as. For example, if you are a moon or a sun in Capricorn, people are going to describe you as generally driven, ambitious, and grounded. You see this in yourself, and people see that in you. But if it's your moon sign, it's not something people see right away. In fact, the only people who tend to see our moon sign are the people who are closest to us, because the moon sign represents the emotional body. It shows us our emotional patterns. It shows us our programming associated with emotions. It can show us where our hurt is. It can show us what we need for emotional fulfillment. And so knowing your moon sign is quite possibly the most important part of your chart that you can know. So with a moon in Scorpio, these people are generally very intense emotionally. They have very fast mood swings. So also knowing that Scorpio is a water archetype in the zodiac, this means that our emotions flow faster as a moon in Scorpio. If you had a moon in an earth sign like Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, you're going to be more emotionally grounded and you're not going to experience as highs or lows. But with a moon in Scorpio, they live for the roller coaster and they can't help it because our moon sign is just our emotional body. We don't think about it, it's just how we feel. So moon in Scorpios can have a tendency to be high when they're high and low when they're low. And if they're low when they're low, don't try to talk them out of it because they feel low. And this intensity can be something that the moon in Scorpio both thrives on but gets exhausted by. Because our moon sign is something that we need to fulfill for emotional fulfillment, but it's also a pattern we need to break. So the biggest struggle for a moon in Scorpio is going to be learning to navigate that roller coaster and find healthy ways to channel that need for intensity. These people will tend to, because they crave intensity, they seek out drama sometimes in their lives. They're always looking for the next drama that's happening, whether that's, oh, this happened at the grocery store, or this happened while I was here, or creating dramas of their own, thinking that they must struggle or that they must work harder. They're seeking a sense of intensity in everything they do. I would definitely recommend for a moon in Scorpio, check what house your moon is in to know where this is going to show up in your life the most. If it's in your second house, you're going to go to intensities with your money. But back to the moon in Scorpio, they're going to struggle so much with this imbalance in their life, and they can learn to just ride it, but they also need to learn how to navigate it with other people, because not everyone has a moon in Scorpio. Not everyone thrives off of that intensity, and so their highs and lows can seem very extreme to other people, and it can make them a little hard to navigate and be around. So noticing that in yourself, and when you feel high and when you feel low, and also notice if your brain starts to tell you it's an ultimatum, so to say. When you're high, are you telling yourself, like, I'm always going to be like this is the greatest thing in the world? And when you're low, are you telling yourself this is the only way to go? Another thing about being a moon in Scorpio is that you are extremely investigative. Scorpio is an archetype that always wants to look below the surface and see what is lying in the depths. So these people are always going to be digging deeper for emotional fulfillment. They can do this specifically through their relationships, because Scorpio wants to be codependent, so to say. They want to be merging with someone. They can tend to dive deep with a partner. And this can be interesting for them, probably, as they're getting to know people in relationships, going from the early dating stage to a later dating stage, where they're going from showing these people just their fun side and their sun sign, maybe, or their Venus, and then this Scorpio moon comes out and wants to dive deep. It might freak people out a little, leaving them running, potentially. But this is also a gift as well, when navigated correctly, where the moon in Scorpio can take this investigative nature and harness it into their intuition. After all, the moon in Scorpio is called the intense intuitive, and that's because not only are they extreme, but they can be investigators, and this can be channeled into intuition. The moon in Scorpio is going to be highly intuitive. They naturally see what's beyond the surface, and they can't help but notice it. So these people's third eye chakra tends to be very, very strong, and they can use this intuition to either see danger before it's ahead. They can use it to see people's true intentions. They can use it to see maybe even in themselves when they're not doing something they should, or they can use it to even guide themselves on the right path. So if you have a moon in Scorpio, tap into this gift of intuition. Listen to your intuition. It is usually not wrong. On that note, Scorpio tends to also struggle with feelings of betrayal. So if you have a moon in Scorpio, you might have grown up in a household where you felt that you were betrayed, or that you can't trust people, and that you should be investigative because you were investigated in your childhood. You felt like you were maybe questioned a lot, or that you had to watch what you were doing carefully to make sure that you didn't get on people's bad sides. So notice when it comes up that you are being investigative, and when you are lacking trust. Are you being too cautious, or are you not being cautious enough? So leave a comment below if this resonated for you, and what else you feel as a moon in Scorpio, to let other people know what it's like to be a moon in Scorpio as well. And download my free birth chart workbook, where you can learn how to decode your soul's unique energetic imprint through your big three, which is your sun, moon, and rising, and your Venus and your Mars. You'll learn how to undo and decode your birth chart with that workbook in the link below. And right now, I'm offering free 15-minute readings on your big three, so that you can understand the basics of your chart. So hit the link below to book that call now while I'm still offering it. And if you want to learn how to not just understand your moon sign, but to break free of your limitations so that you can feel emotionally liberated and somewhat transcend your emotions, so that you can be a creator instead of a victim to your emotional cycles, hit the link below to join Be the Hero at BeTheHero.academy, where I teach you how to understand all of your personality, including your moon sign. I teach you how to go from not only understanding what it means to have maybe a moon in Scorpio, moon in Pisces, whatever you are. I teach you how to understand what your moon sign means, but then I also teach you how to break free of it, how to transcend it, how to feel and let go. And this can be a huge step in the journey because knowing your moon sign is the most important thing. I cannot stress it enough. The most important part of your chart. So hit the link below to join BeTheHero.Academy, our membership, get the free birth chart, book your free reading, and stay tuned for further videos on the moon signs.